So Vasyl Lomachenko shockingly came out and said that the judges were bribed. That's why he lost the fight. He truly believed he won the fight, and Teo robbed him of his victory because he had the judges in his pocket. He believed that the judges were bribed. Now, who could have possibly bribed the judges? The only one that could have possibly bribed the judges is Bob Arum. So who is Lomachenko pointing fingers at? Why will they bribe the judges to rob you when they erasing your losses? They went out of their way to build you up and hype you up. But you trying to convince us that they bribed the judges to rob you of your victory? I mean, think about it. Lomachenko robbed himself. Lomachenko threw little to no punches for the first half of the fight. The statistics from the fight says that Lomachenko landed 7 power punches for the first 6 rounds. That's equivalent of 1 punch he landed each round. Now let that sink in. You robbed yourself. Nobody robbed you but yourself. Because if Lomachenko let his hands fly, he would have had a better chance of winning the fight. But on the other hand, he could have also got countered in the process. The reason why he didn't let his hands go is because he was afraid of what's coming back. He could have risked getting knocked out, but he would have gave himself a better chance of winning the fight, because when he let his hands go, he made the fight a little bit more competitive. But before that, he pretty much put us to sleep. Like I said before, Teddy Atlas said Floyd Mayweather put on a stinker against Pacquiao, when it was Pacquiao who didn't throw as many punches as he should have, not Floyd, because Floyd outlanded Pacquiao. But I don't hear Teddy claiming that Lomachenko put on a stinker against Teo, throwing no punches, showing he has no heart, because a true champion will find a way to win. And that's why Shakur Stevenson came out and said that Lomachenko lacks heart. He has heart problems, because when he stepped in the Lions Den, he was pretty much afraid, and it would be bad for him to step in the ring with me. That's what Shakur said. He said it wasn't the size of Teo. It wasn't the skill of Lomachenko. It was the heart, of Lomachenko. And that's what it all came down to. I know Lomachenko is saying things out of pocket because he just can't accept the loss. We saw how he was acting right after the fight, the way he walked out. You could see he was really disappointed. Obviously, Teo trashed him throughout the lead up, and he just can't live losing to a guy that trashed him throughout the lead up, that said he was overhyped, that he was overrated, and proved his point and proved his case. So since Lomachenko can't live with that, he will say anything and everything but accept the loss. You got First Take when there was news of Wilder saying that the costume played an effect to why he lost to Tyson Fury. You saw First Take, they gave Wilder no break. They went off on Wilder before even finding out. Did Wilder say anything about a costume? Was Wilder himself that said it? Did they overheard the team talking? Or was it the trainer? So on and so forth. No, they automatically assumed it's Wilder. So they clowned Wilder, to say the least. I don't see ESPN and First Take clowning Lomachenko for claiming that someone bribed the judges. He pretty much following that Manny Pacquiao blueprint of making excuses, the shoulder excuse. And now he came out with something more creative, talking about the judges were bribed. What's your take on that?
Lomachenko said prior to the fight that he was 100%, ready for this fight, that he was in the best shape of his life for this fight, and that nobody's ever taken him 100%. That's what he said. He said nobody's ever brought him to 100% full capacity in the ring. Now, with that being said, why wasn't that shown against Teofimo if he had a shoulder injury during training? See, that just goes to show right there the BS that goes on with these fighters and the BS that goes on with these sanctions, man. And the fact that they just hype these fighters up to be, something that they're not, just to promote and to make money, and they get in there to get themselves, busted up. Right. Lomachenko is a great fighter. He's a good fighter. I don't think he's, the best in the world yet. I don't think he's pound for pound, not with 15 fights. You know what I mean?
Well, let me say this.
I deeply believe that.
Well, of course, obviously he ain't the best in the world. You got 2 losses within 15 fights. That it shows the pros is a completely different sport than the amateurs. When it comes to Vasyl Lomachenko, like I said before, throughout the lead up, he was saying, I'm 100%. So there should be no excuses after the fight. He said, I never been 100%. All of a sudden, once he loses, he want to blame it on an injury that didn't exist leading up to the fight, because he wouldn't have came out and voluntarily gave out some information such as he's 100%. There's no injury, so on and so forth. He also clowned Teo for his leg surgery. He said, a leg surgery, you want to claim you were injured as well. How the hell were you doing flips after the fight? That's what Lomachenko said. And my questions to Lomachenko is, how the hell were you throwing punches with a hurt shoulder? If you really had a shoulder injury, how were you able to move the right shoulder the way you were throwing all type of punches with it? Because he said the right shoulder was the one that was actually injured. That was the only punch he was throwing. See, when Floyd Mayweather hurt his hand at one of his fights when he was Pretty Boy, the man literally switched southpaw. Floyd Mayweather went from orthodox to southpaw because he could no longer use his right hand. So what he had to do, he wanted to use his left hand as a power shot to keep his opponent at bay. So he switched southpaw on his opponent. Lomachenko, on the other hand, he want to claim his right shoulder hurt, but the only punch he was throwing was the right hand. So that makes no sense at all. Stop making excuses, make things happen, because he's not going to get a rematch making excuses, claiming the judges were bribed when he, the one that didn't let his hands go. Nobody stopped Lomachenko from letting his hands go. I mean, everybody looked like the Matrix when they fighting a guy they supposed to look good against. I mean, look at Gennady Golovkin last fight against the guy with 5 KOs. Gennady Golovkin just fought last night. He had just as much head movement as Lomachenko did. Gennady Golovkin displayed head movement. He displayed angles. He displayed all the above when he was fighting a nobody. But when he was fighting a Deryachenko, a guy on his level, Deryachenko was treating Gennady Golovkin like a punching bag. So the point that I'm trying to make, yeah, Lomachenko is going to look like the Matrix fighting a guy that doesn't belong in the ring with him, like a Corolla that was nervous before hopping in the ring with him. Matter of fact, he gave Teo a call, according to Teo, and he was asking him for advice to get his confidence up. Yeah, you're going to look like the Matrix against that guy. But when it came to fighting the best or a fighter that's on the come up, he never defended his title, not even once. Teofimo Lopez. Teo showed that he had the good. Teo showed that he could rise to the occasion. On the other hand, Lomachenko, the Matrix went out of the window. All he did is cover up the whole night so he won't get hit with the shot and possibly get hurt in the process.
Hold it, hold it. You're not that pretty. I'm a bad man. Wait. I still got the wall. I got the wall.
I bear witness, there's only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his final messenger. That's what I said, Larry, on the Bungle fight. Thanking you.
They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.